All right, all right, all right. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it, man. Because a lot of people have been asking me to chime in. And to be honest with you, I've been trying to not talk about it because, again, I want to get more facts. Personally, if you ask me, now if you just ask me, it's self-defense. Personally. Now, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But based on what I've been seeing, based on everything that I've seen, based on everything that I've heard, this sounds like self-defense. I mean, when it gets to the point where someone like Tim Pool is literally coming to the defense of the black dude, that lets you know everything that you need to hear right there. That lets you know everything that you got to hear right there. Listen, the thing is that the Karmelo Anthony case represents a lot of what's happened in America. You know, for the longest time, there was this meme of you could always victimize a black person and always project yourself to be the victim. And that was all too easy for people to do constantly. You know, even when you look at someone like George Zimmerman, right? George Zimmerman, look at what happened to Trayvon Martin. It's just unconscionable that George Zimmerman walked free. Unconscionable. This man is sitting here signing Skittle bags. Unconscionable. But that's what's been going down in this country. Unconscionable stuff. Unconscionable. Disgusting stuff. Stuff that should have never occurred in the first place. Young man being chased down, doing nothing wrong. Some guy pretending to be freaking neighborhood watch, you know, gets into a fight with a young man, guns down the young man. He walks free. He's hanging out with KKK folks. He's hanging out with all kinds of interesting folks. And this guy is walking free to this very day. And now you're going to complain when someone uses self-defense against someone who attacked him? And now I want to give you guys a bit of an update. Karmelo Anthony has been freed. He is out on bond. His bond was reduced. That should let you know there's probably something more to this case that you haven't been hearing, something more that you haven't heard. Because judges in general, even you could take the most left-wing one that you could possibly imagine. People project that Kamala Harris is this freedom fighter, right? They pretend like she's this great freedom fighter. Even she was throwing black folks behind bars with reckless abandon. So let's get that straight. Judges don't typically let anybody free, much less black people in Texas. But let's hear the news report here from CBS News.
What you're seeing right now is the 17-year-old accused of murder walking out of the Collin County Jail this afternoon after posting bond. Thanks for joining us here at 5 on a Monday. I'm Nicole Baker.
And I'm Doug Dunbar. So let's dive into it. Karmelo Anthony had been in jail since the 2nd of April, accused still today of killing another teenager. That's Austin Metcalf. And that accused killing happened at a track meet at a high school. Today, a judge reduced Anthony's bond from $1 million all the way down to $250,000. J.D. Miles was there for it. He's live for us right now outside the.
So the bond got reduced from $1 million to $250,000, which lets you know, right? That lets you know exactly what was going down, man. That lets you know that there is something more to this case that you aren't being told about. See, you're being told that this is a case of a young black man getting away with the crime in Texas. Which, first off, that's his cap.
CAP cap.
CAP cap. There is no way you're gonna convince me that a black man got away with anything in Texas. Y'all can stop it. Y'all can stop. Okay? All right.
That is one big pile of shit.
That is one big pile of something. Yeah, come on now. Let's stop that. Let's stop that, man. But the Karmelo Anthony case, it represents so much more. It represents the fear that certain black people have when they're being assaulted by, multiple white individuals. Karmelo Anthony reacting the way that he did makes sense in Frisco, Texas. Makes sense in Texas in general, makes sense in the South, makes sense in an area that is known to not be friendly towards people who look like you. Like, for example, if you go over to certain parts of the country or certain parts where there's higher than average cases of men forcing themselves on women, a woman will be perfectly justified if she pulls out a bluey, a pew-pew, if you keep touching her and she says stop. I think she'd be perfectly justified if in that area it is known to be unfriendly towards women who say no. So in the same light, I look at a place like Texas that is known to have issues with black folks. And if you come at me more than once and I done told you to back off, well, I've clearly given you indication to back off. Well, I mean, that's just how stand your law. That's just how stand. That's how stand your ground works, isn't it? I find it very interesting how black people, no matter what we do, we can't stand our ground. Trayvon Martin was doing nothing wrong. He couldn't stand his ground. George Zimmerman was somehow justified in what he did. So was Daniel Penny. So are all these cops. The cop who shot Tamir Rice, man, he's hopping from department to freaking department, going to whoever will freaking hire him. And then people like me have to track him down and make sure he doesn't have a freaking job.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
That I agree, Kurt Angle. It's damn true. Right? It's damn true. But certainly when the shoe's on the other foot, certainly when the tables are turned, certainly when things are a little bit different, now is a problem. See, it comes back to that one little part of the rap song. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. See, it's a problem when Karmelo Anthony defends himself because that sets a bad precedent. See? The precedent that even a young black man can defend himself against multiple assailants and he will get a fair trial. See, back in the old days, y'all were used to getting some horses, getting a posse, and getting some rope. That's what y'all used to. Y'all ain't used to us fighting back. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've been fighting back, but right now, oh, I wouldn't push your luck. I wouldn't push your luck. The young man was attacked. Young man was assaulted. Young man was insulted while being attacked. Young man defended himself by whatever means he saw fit. What's the problem here?
The Collin County Jail. Anthony just left. We saw the video. What else do we need to know?
That's right, Doug and Nicole. Just 6 hours or about that much time after a judge lowered his bond, Karmelo Anthony was released. The judge who made the decision warned the accused murderer that if he violates any terms of his probation or tries to leave his home, he will be brought back right here to the Collin County Jail.
Karmelo, do you have anything that you'd like to say to the victims?
Karmelo Anthony emerged from the Collin County Jail 13 days after his arrest for the murder of Austin Metcalf. The high school student had nothing to say as he headed to his parents' home, where he will be confined to an ankle monitor. It's the result of a hearing this morning over whether to lower his bond. The families of both Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf arrived at the Collin County Courthouse this morning with extra security in and around the courtroom. A new defense attorney representing the Frisco teen accused of murder had his client's father testify about his son's character, telling the judge he was a captain of his football and track teams and that he held 2 jobs while in school.
So this again, it was hard to besmirch this young man. It was hard to drag this young man down, right? Because this young man was a captain of the football team and track team. And on top of that, this young man Model student. No trouble, no arrest, no run-in with the freaking law. I'm very curious though. What about the other guy? Don't you find it strange how no one's digging into the other guy's background like they do us? Like, say a young black man would lose his life to a suspected white supremacist. Suddenly, they would dig into this young black man's background, and if he so much as even jaywalked in kindergarten, well, you know, he had it coming. You know, he's a criminal. Criminals get what they get. I find it very interesting, very peculiar how we've heard nothing about Austin Metcalf. Nothing. Nothing on his background. Nothing. I've heard nothing. That wasn't pushed out there because he's not the targeted party right now. See, a black person who loses their life, they are still the targeted party somehow. Still. Even then. But suddenly, we can't do any research into Austin Metcalf. We've just suddenly lost our detective shoes. We have lost our gumshoes. We have misplaced our gumshoes, and we're not going to dig into Austin Metcalf like we did Tamir Rice. Interesting, huh? Fascinating how that works. You know, when people face similar scenarios, isn't it fascinating how standards change? I find it intriguing, I find it fascinating, and I find it a strange coinkydink. I find it strange how we can have these conversations in America about how we got to end black on black crime, and yet when you have a white person committing a crime, a black person defends themselves, suddenly it's an issue. Suddenly it's problematic. It's problematic at best. It's certainly problematic. I don't find it problematic. I say it's good. It's good to know that our children can defend themselves. Now, granted, I don't think that the dominant white society wants to go to which children does the most damage at schools, because the vast majority of the people showing up to freaking schools with weapons. Do you really want to go there? Do you really want to go there? Do you really want to go there, pal? Because I'll go there. In fact, I know for a fact that the only reason why we're even talking about Uvalde and so many other issues is because of things that other people's children have been doing at schools, not ours. So whenever you want to have that conversation, we can have the conversation, because currently I'm in Roseburg, Oregon, and I know for a fact there was a shooter not some years back, went to a educational institution. We'll just say that educational institution, and he just opened fire. What color was that guy? Woo! I don't think you want to go there. I mean, you look at grocery stores, you look at movie theaters with Batman, you look at so many other institutions, especially schools. What you're going to find very often, so often, is that it's not us doing all the mass shootings. I'm just all the mass pew-pews. It's not us. It's not our folks. That is not our claim. That is not our anti-drug. That is not on us. That, my friend, is typically them other folks. So if whenever you want to go there, let's go there. Because I can tell you, if you go to almost any state in the union, you just look around, you ask around, it ain't us doing all the damage. I'm just saying. Well, we're the majority. In the global sense, you're less than 10% of the global population, and yet somehow in every continent you have offended everybody. So I don't think you want to go there. When it comes to who has committed the most violence, not just in this country, but around the world. The African continent wants to have a word with you. The indigenous Australians want to have a word with you. The Asians want to have a word with you. All of them. Don't go there. The natives here want to have a word with you. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. Your whole society was built on freaking violence. Don't go there. I'm pretty sure the Cow Creek Indian tribe right here in Roseburg, Oregon wants to have a word with you, okay? Don't go there. Don't go there, okay? So let's keep pushing it. Let's keep it pushing. Let's play more of this
He's
video.
an A student, said Andrew Anthony. Does he have plans to go to college? Yes, sir.
And prior to this, what was on his mind was what college he was going to go to.
Right.
This is a tragedy.
Tragedy.
All the way around.
It is.
For both families.
Anthony, who told Frisco police he stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a track meet in self-defense after an altercation, sat in a jail jumpsuit and shackles, while prosecutors challenged how the father could not afford the 10% needed for $1 million bond, with an online donation fund that's up to $400,000 and growing. With access to over $400,000, why haven't you bonded him out yet? Asked the prosecutor. We don't have access to that money, replied the father.
Right.
It's hard for everybody to be level-headed at a time like this. So that's where we come in. It's our job to be level-headed, to be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it leads.
Right. See, the other thing I find it very, very interesting, now I find it to be fascinating. I'm loving it. It's how everybody's rushing to make conclusions, especially the people who have condemned this young man, Karmelo Anthony. Especially those folks. Because have you ever noticed during a police shooting, when the police happen to hit a black person, they always say, well, wait till all the facts and evidence come out. Wait till all the facts and evidence come out. That's interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, that is interesting. When did this case happen? I'm just curious. I'm curious, when did this, let's look it up real quick. I want to look it up. When did the Karmelo Anthony case occur? When did it occur? When did it occur? When did that occur? See, that's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. See, on April the 2nd, right? April the 2nd. April the 2nd. We in April the 2nd. Today is the 15th. 13 days later. 13 days. And yet, you know, just interestingly enough, we are rushing to conclusions. I thought you said, let's wait till all the facts and evidence are out. I thought you said, hey, don't rush to conclusions, right? Let's let the justice system play out. That's what you said with Kyle Rittenhouse. Let the justice system play out. Don't cry about it. Let it play out. Oh, let's let it play out then. I mean, the bond got reduced, which means there's probably going to be some reduced charges too. See? You always say, let's wait till all the facts and evidence are coming out. Well, let's wait till all the facts and evidence are out. Let's not rush to conclusions, guys. Let's be reasonable. Let's look at this objectively. See all that gaslighting? You don't like it, do you? You hate that, don't you? It sounds like bullshit. But, you see, scenarios like this, I love. I love it, one, because Karmelo Anthony is safe. Unfortunately, what happened to Austin Metcalf is unfortunate. You never want to see a young man lose his life. That's unfortunate. Let's just keep it a buck, and let's not pretend like, you know, some of us aren't parents. If something happened to one of my children, I'll be very upset. But at the same time, though, had Karmelo Anthony did something to him, whew, given the historical precedent, black man can't even, young black boy can't even whistle at a white woman, or someone can't even assume that he did. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Tamir Rice would love to have a word with you. Don't you find it interesting how it takes scenarios like this for us to finally have empathy for each other? The same way his parents are hurting, I'm pretty sure Tamir Rice's mother is hurting the same way. And yet she has to watch the executioner of her son jump from job to job to job to job to job. And yet you had no issue with that. You were fine with that. You said, wait till all the facts come out. Wait till all the evidence come out. Why are you complaining? What about Chicago? Well, tell you what, white America. What about Appalachia? Why are you complaining about what happened to Austin Metcalf? What about Appalachia? All the crime there, all the meth use there, all the heroin use there, all the fentanyl use there. Why are you not crying about Appalachia? Why are you not helping these poor white people you love to think and talk about so much? You claim there's so many poor white people, so much more poor white people if you adjust for population size, than black people, which is a lie. But you say that we shouldn't worry about things like a police officer shooting a black person, because guess what? Things are bad in Chicago. Well, guess what, white America? Things are bad in Miami. Things are bad in South Carolina. Things are bad in North Carolina. They're bad in Alabama. They're bad in Kentucky. Oh, my God, the poverty there with white folks is terrible. They are bad in West Virginia. Don't worry about Austin Metcalf. Worry about all those people over in West Virginia. Whenever a black person loses their freaking life, you bring up Chicago. So to all the people who are worried about Austin Metcalf, what about West Virginia? Isn't it strange how these standards sounds like complete lack of empathy when they're applied to you? Isn't it interesting how these words sounds like a person who's heartless? Heartless! Because only a heartless person would let someone who gunned down Breonna Taylor walk free. But you want to talk to me about heartless? Heartless? Huh. What about Michael Brown? Heartless. Sandra Bland, boy, that was heartless. Real heartless. Natasha Harlan, heartless. Boy, that's heartless. Elijah McClain, the sweetest young man you ever want to meet in your life. Not a threat to anybody. This man played the violin for sick cats. This man did community service. This young man was a model citizen. And it was all fun and games. You had EMS folks and cops making fun of them taking this young man's life. And it was all fun and games then. Ha ha he he. But one person who attacked another person gets poked up. And you sat there and said nothing about George Zimmerman selling Skittles bags to mock Trayvon Martin. You said nothing. Ha ha he he. Well, I just want you to remember, white America, with every joke comes a punchline. And this is the one time that you got punched.